Gators have been around for millions of years in the Everglades as an apex predator in the ecosystem. But man almost drove them to extinction at one point, before utilization of the species brought them back from the brink. Hunting has become a controversial practice in modern times. My name is Dan Cabela, and I'm traveling the globe to explore the true impact that hunting is having on our remaining wild landscapes. This practice goes as far back as human history can remember, but does it have a place in modern conservation? The Everglades in Florida is filled with marshes and holds a paradise of biodiversity with a plethora of wildlife. Alligators currently thrive in the Everglades and are considered to be a keystone species. Populations have become quite stable because of sustainable utilization and economic incentives that exist in the farming and ranching industry. Dwindling populations of alligators were the result of unregulated hunting and habitat loss. They were listed as an endangered species in 1967. The number of alligators began to rebound when alligator farms were opened. Populations have since improved considerably, and alligators were removed from the endangered species list in 1987 and thrive in Florida today. Sustainable use of alligators in the United States generates more than $70 million annually at the product level, providing substantial incentive for the public to retain habitat and tolerate alligators. I've decided to take a deeper look into this recovery by visiting the heart of the industry in Florida. While not commonly thought of as ranching land, I'm heading to the Kemper Ranch to take a look at the conservation model that has brought the alligator back from the brink to historic numbers. The Kemper Ranch is primarily a cattle ranch, but also receives additional income from hunting and egg collection.
How are you? I'm Hoppy.
Nice to meet you. I'm Dan.
Dan, pleasure to meet you.
Excited to see what you guys are doing here.
Well, it's going to probably be exciting. So we're going to go collect some alligator eggs, and you're going to need to get some long pants on. I hope you brought some.
I did.
Okay.
I did bring some.
I'm gonna need some.
Let me get changed up and I'll meet you in the
Change,
truck.
come on, the cabin's right there. Make yourself at home, get your stuff, and get ready, and let's go.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy.
The wetlands of Kemper Ranch have been preserved and kept in a natural state because of income generated through the utilization of the American alligator. This situation is similar on many ranches throughout the state of Florida. Modern alligator management primarily includes farming, harvesting and hatching eggs for the ranching industry, and controlled hunting on both public and private lands.
See, it's not self-activated.
Hoppy is taking me into the swamps for their annual egg collection. The best way to navigate this habitat is by airboat, and we'll be searching for nests with the help of a biologist. Harvesting alligator eggs helps to stabilize wild alligator numbers. Biologists have calculated the number of nests that can be harvested while sustaining healthy populations. Alligator farms buy the eggs to raise alligators to harvest their hides. helicopter is often used to help locate nests, and the biologist communicates with Hoppy via radio. A nest has been spotted nearby, and we're on our way there.
They're gonna land the chopper right here.
Funds gained by the sale of eggs on private and public lands help to keep wetland habitat intact and alligator numbers at stable levels.
So Dan, this is the guy that we've been talking to on the radio all morning. This is Steve Shea.
Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about you. Glad to meet you.
This is hey buddy.
Let's go.
It's our wildlife biologist and certified gator biologist, so he's gonna certify this as a nest over here.
Yeah. One of the things that the state agency has required is all alligator egg collections need to be overseen by a certified wildlife biologist. The reason they do that is to ensure that the harvest process is done in a ecologically and biologically safe way to be able to sustain those alligator populations on private lands forever. And that's why I'm involved here today. On an alligator nest, you'll see what we call a tail drag. You'll see this mark where the female actually crawls up on top of the nest. She does that lots of times at night to try to protect the nest from predators. She'll scratch up all the vegetation into a pile. It's almost like a compost pile. It acts the same way, and as it decomposes, that vegetation decomposes, it'll actually produce heat, and that heat is what incubates the eggs.
Oh, there they are.
You got to go deep on some of these.
Yeah. A typical alligator nest has 25 to 50 eggs in it, the average probably in the low to mid 30s. When the embryo starts to form, it attaches on the top side of the egg. And when you're collecting the eggs, you have to make sure that that surface on the top always stays up. And the reason you do that is that if the egg rolled, the embryo could detach from the eggshell and it will kill it immediately. So we take great care to make sure that those eggs, the top side always stays up.
Great care is taken to keep eggs in their harvested position. A final process is called candling.
The reason they use the word candling is back before they had lights, they actually used fire to actually candle eggs. But you can see use of the flashlight. If you hold it to the egg, you can see that dark middle portion of the egg. That shows that there's an embryo in there and it's live. See this egg? This is a classic egg that has been not fertilized, so it's an infertile egg. So this egg we would not keep because we know that there will not be a live embryo growing in it. So what we'll do is we will basically remove that from the clutch. All right, Dan, we've collected over 50 nests already from the property. We have 2 more that are really remote nests that are back in a big cypress swamp, and we'll basically walk through that cypress head to those remaining nests to collect those eggs. In these cypress drains, the water fluctuation is tremendous. During the storm season, when we have hurricanes, we'll have big rainfall events, 15 to 20 inches of rain, and the creek systems will elevate rapidly. So alligators like this try to build a nest on as high a ground as they can. They do this as a strategy to ensure the survival of the eggs during high water events. There's a lot of predators in Florida that love to eat alligator eggs. Raccoons are one of the biggest predators. Feral hogs also love to eat alligator eggs. And a lot of people don't realize this, but river otters, they really love to eat alligator eggs as well. As you can tell by that thunder, Florida's rainy season is upon us. So we're gonna try to get these eggs out of here before the rain starts.
Only about 2% of nested eggs in the wild survive after hatching. In farms, alligator eggs have a better than 95% survival rate.
Alligator Farms is a relatively large business in Florida, and the alligators are raised in captivity, and then when they're harvested, the meat is sold to markets, and the hides are processed and tanned for creating leather products.
My next stop is Gatorama, a commercial farm that purchases alligator eggs. It was initially founded in 1957 as a local tourism attraction.
I'm out. Good, real good.
Alan and Patty Register are the current owners, and they are in the midst of distributing eggs to buyers.
We're about 6 days into our collection right now, so we retained 23,000, a little over 23,000 eggs. And so they all come, we have a courier that comes to each of the locations, the South Crew and the North Crew, and then they bring them to Gatorama. We have a temporary storage here, so we put them in there, and then once a week, we'll do the distribution.
All right, so we got total details.
This year, we're having a banner year. We had a banner year last year, but this year seems to be better than last year. And I think it's because of the lack of rain, and everything's dry, and nothing's getting flooded out. Last year, we retained over 51,000 eggs, which was the best year we've ever had.
This booming trade is incentivizing the protection of healthy alligator populations on private lands across the country. Another form of conservation that has helped to bring the alligator back to stable numbers is tourism. I spent some time at Gatorama to take a look at the tourism side of alligator conservation. Tourism is also an effective tool in creating awareness of a species that's been around for a lot longer than human beings have. This awareness leads to greater tolerance for alligators. Alan's son, Ben, is giving me the chance to feed some alligators.
All right, let's see if we can get Jimmy up here. Jimmy, let's go, big guy. Come on. Jimmy, where are you? All right, there's Jimmy right there. So, Jimmy, come on. Jump. Get down. There you go. Oh, so close. So close. Try it again. Yeah! Give me 5. We did it. Woo! All right, give him a round of applause. Woo!
Gator viewing is popular at Gatorama, and for many tourists, nothing tops seeing a gator and all of their mystique in this type of setting.
What's that? We actually have a pretty cool alligator we let the guests hold here, and we can let you hold it if you want to.
No, I'd love to do that.
All right, I'll let you tape his mouth shut too.
Okay.
We use actually vet wrap, we don't use tape. The tape will actually stick to the animal and it could hurt it. So with the vet wrap, it secures their mouth, but it doesn't hurt the animal. So if you want to hold them, just grab them by the tail, front legs, hold them level, just like that.
And so you called this a pied?
Pied alligator, it's basically a genetic mutation. I'm not really into all the genetics and stuff. I've heard there's about 12 of these alligators in the entire world. I've only seen 2 that look like this. Most of the time, they'll look like a regular alligator and just have like one little white spot on their foot. So it's kind of neat just to have one that's totally different colors. And you can actually see how strong he is when they start to move, even though they're that small. It's like, whoa. So you got your hands on a little one. You want to go get face to face with the big one?
That'd be awesome. Do I hold it just like this?
You can try. Come on. Good boy. Come on. Come on. Good boy. So this is Old Timer. He's been here since 1957. He's one of the original alligators that we have here. We don't really know how old he is. We know he's been here since 1957. So that's what, 66 years? He was probably 10 feet back that time. So you add another 20 years of that, you know, he might be over 100. To stay outside of his sweeping motion, you gotta imagine if he were to turn, you know, his head's gonna come right here, but he's not gonna move super fast. So if you wanna come on behind this way, then you can just kind of like kneel down and place your arm around him. Hold. Hold. Good boy. All right, don't go anywhere.
It's not every day you get to put your hand on an animal that's been on Earth longer than humans. I'd say this is a pretty amazing experience. As communities and development have encroached into alligator habitat, the need for nuisance alligator control has become more prevalent. By utilizing hunting and other sustainable use methods, it helps to keep alligators at manageable levels. Silver Lake Preserve is a ranch with multiple land use practices, including sugarcane crops, plantation forest, grazing pastures, and guided hunts.
What hunting does is it's a tremendous moneymaker. It's a tremendous industry. So what happens if you take these animals and they become valuable to hunters, then the hunters are doing, and the outfitters like myself are doing things to protect them and to make the herd healthy so they thrive, so that it's a sustainable resource. All hunters are harvesting adult males. And so if all you're doing is harvesting adult males, you have literally zero effect on population numbers because the females are not being harvested and they're still being bred by the younger males. So, you're not interrupting anything.
The hunting of gators is a massive source of income for landowners and often necessary for the control of nuisance individuals near populated areas.
Just put it right behind his eyes and slowly squeeze. That's your boy right there.
Grab that loop in. Yeah, pull tight.
More?
Yeah.
You grab the rope and help me pull.
That's not working.
Now you get back, let you push it. Is he helping you?
Is that good?
In combination with the harvesting of eggs, the sustainable use of gators helps to keep their populations in check and manage human-wildlife conflict that occurs as human needs for land increase. Both of these methods give the species value and form the basis of a sustainable conservation model. Nothing goes to waste here after a successful hunt. I am invited to join the guide and other Silver Lake Preserve staff for a meal.
This is gator bites. Nice white meat. There's dark meat and light meat, and the light meat tends to be more tender. Please try some.
It looked like a bird to me because the front of it to me looked dark, and then it looked like there were white tail feathers.
Right, yeah.
It has been an enlightening journey into the truth behind the recovery of gator populations in the United States.
I was guiding here. I was just part-time.
Like many ecosystems, the Everglades are delicate, and the financial model surrounding alligators has given landowners the perfect incentive to preserve large tracts of this habitat. The commercial industry has created value, and with strict regulations and good management, the species is thriving in Florida as a result. It is the uncontrolled misuse of alligators that brought the species to the brink of extinction. Yet the controlled use of them has brought them back. Alligators are an excellent example of a species that has funded its own conservation to the point that it's gone from threatened to prolific.